prepped this stuff already. Got sort of bits lying around everywhere to assemble this. First of all, the overflow, which comes in the back. So that's an easy one. Just something like that. Straight in there. I'm going to put a bit of sealant at the back here, but I'll do that in the final assembly. You obviously have a drain out at the back. And this guy screws together in there. Again, just need to figure out what to put on the end of that. Plan B is a bottle. I found this a couple of years ago lying on the sidewalk further up the road with a hole drilled in it. I thought it was a full one. I wish. Anyway, somebody drilled a hole in there for whatever reason, so it's pretty useless. The bottom's rusted to hell as well. There's actually most of the base is kind of holed. It's pretty shit. But I threw it in the back of the yard, just basically so it wouldn't be lying in the street. That, along with the basin, should make for a nice working height. Now, to try and get that off, I don't know how they do this in the factory, but I'm assuming there's a spanner that goes on here and unscrews the whole lot. Pretty sure it's not going to happen for me today. Let's try a shifting spanner. Let's see what happens. Obstruction. I think it's time for the grinder to come out. drilled a hole right through the brass as much as I could. That should be enough for the sink to drain out of. I've cut the bottom, just a big hole, because you can see it's so buggered, it's so rotten. So I've just cut a hole down the bottom there, so when it drains, it should run straight off the side into the hedge. The hedge likes water, so that shouldn't be a problem. Right now, just to get the excess cutting fluid off, I'm going to use a bit of old petrol, take all these old propane stickers off. We'll throw them away in a bit. And see if I can get some of this kind of washed off a bit, just so that the paint, because I'm going to paint it with some random spray can that I've got. I'll see what colors I've got and just paint it so that it looks less orange and more uniform. But that should then kind of conclude the structure. I'm really pleased that I thought about finding this thing that I had laying out in the back, because this was on the sidewalk probably 3 or 4 years ago. Somebody had drilled a hole on the other side into it. There's a hole in there, but you can see it's rotten as hell underneath as well, so it was probably written off or discarded. And now, after all these years, it will be a fairly decent kind of base to this gearbox bell housing hand wash basin of mine. It's a nice height as well for washing at. There you go, old petrol. This petrol's way older than me. Just gonna get a rag to wash and wipe the rest up. Right, I've sprayed paint can. It was 50p, but the nozzle don't work no more. I'm going to take a chance, see if I can poke a hole in the bottom of it, empty it out into this plastic tub, and then use a brush to apply. It's not going to be great, but it's better than it is at the minute. So first things first, let's see if this works. It's probably going to do what happens on all these American fail type video clips. Well, that's a mess. Don't want to see what my driveway is going to look like when I'm done. Ah, shit. Well, that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. That's right. Let's see where we go with this. blue is a bit of a mess, but it's okay. Got most of it off by tomorrow morning, hopefully. A couple of showers and I'll be good. I've got a little bit of burgundy to stick down the bottom. It was a toss-up between burgundy, silver or satin black. I think burgundy is sort of okay. Good enough? I think so. Would have preferred it all to be blue, but too bad. Didn't have any more blue. More wet paint. Oh yes. I would have to lift those pavers to get those out. So that'll be a reminder forever of this job. Once I've put a join in there, water straight throughout the bottom. I think that this will be quite good. Mark of shame. That is the mark of shame. Paint on the floor, that's no good, that's bad. But there you go. Painted up base. I think that's going to be the best base I'm ever going to have. And then obviously the sink. I haven't tightened everything into a final position. This still gets a bit of sealant. That's the plug that was there, the inspection hole in the bell housing. There's a chain that I'll connect the plug with. But basically, I think for what it is, and the drain, obviously the overflow, I might just stick it into that little hole there, so it overflows straight in there, rather than back into, I'll see, the sink. So yeah, that's good enough. I think it's novel enough, it's different enough, it's a bit of fun, and it certainly beats where I started out at, which was washing my hands in the bucket. This bucket's been there for probably the last 10 or 14 years. Water comes off the roof into that big water butt and wash hands there. So yeah, this is it for today. Done.